up, y'all? Welcome to Bree Unsaid, the podcast. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day, everybody. So we are almost close to the weekend. Yay. So first and foremost, if you're tuning in on YouTube, please listen. My face, I'm trying to get it back together, honey. Like, my face is completely broken out. All this fucking caffeine, all this fucking soda, tea, all this shit. Yeah, I'm trying to get it back down pack, y'all. So listen, I ain't no catfish on social media. I just want to let y'all know that me is me, but you know, my face, I gotta get it back together. So y'all don't mind me, okay? So first and foremost, before we start this episode, I want to thank everybody, all my listeners, all my subscribers, everybody who's been supporting me on my podcast, even the people who say, I listened to your episode, I like it, it's really dope. Like, I really, really thank y'all. We are in month 1 of the podcast, and I can honestly say that it's been really cool. Like, a lot of people ask me, how do you just get on there and talk? It's just like, you just talk. Like, I don't know, it's like you having a conversation with yourself, or you having a conversation with your homegirl, whatever, I don't know. But I just want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And it may not mean a lot, and I know it's not a lot, but it's big for me. So I was checking my analytics on my app where I, you know, dish out my podcast on a different streaming out my podcast on the different streaming platforms. And I seen that 2% of my listeners are in Puerto Rico. So shout out to y'all if y'all listening. I really appreciate y'all. Come on, turn this podcast up some more, y'all. I need y'all to turn it up some more. I know typically I said that I was uploading podcasts on Sundays, but we're going to do something different tonight. I still will be doing an episode for Sunday, and we do have a special guest, and I can't wait for y'all to meet her. Excuse me, y'all. Just looking at the messages, y'all. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Let's turn this podcast up. Thank y'all so much. For all my listeners that's listening on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, I think we're actually streaming on Google Podcasts too. So whatever platform you're listening to, we are now on YouTube with the visuals. So if y'all want to look at the visuals, y'all most definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel at Bria Said. So to all of my people that are my clients, I'm also doing a little promo. So the first 20 people to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and at least listen to at least one episode, and follow my Instagram, at Bria Unsaid, you will get 20% off any service, guys. So that means like any waxing service, any lash set, any service that I provide, you will get 20% off. So make sure y'all go subscribe, like, share, comment, follow me on Instagram at Bria Unsaid. Make sure y'all follow my YouTube at Bria Unsaid. And if you don't have Spotify, if you don't have Anchor, if you don't have podcasts, Apple Podcasts, it's cool. You could just subscribe to the YouTube, and you're more so of a winner as anybody else that does have access to the platforms. So, like I said, y'all, if you subscribe to my YouTube, listen to at least one episode, and follow me on Instagram at Bria Unsaid. Make sure all you got to do is just screenshot it, send it to me, and you got 20% off, y'all. So the first 20 people, not the first 21, not the first 25, but the first 20 people, okay? So act fast. So let's get into this episode, because I got some questions for the streets, yo. Like, I got some real life questions for the streets. So this is going to be, episode 6 is basically going to be on consistency in relationships. And I'm not just talking about friendships. I'm talking about relationships with your significant other. Um, yeah. I mean, consistency runs a long way in different situations, but today we focusing on relationships, y'all, okay? So, um, first, I want to know for all the listeners out there, to y'all, what is consistency based upon in a relationship? Um, is consistency based on, them constantly showing acts of love consistently? Is consistency to y'all like constantly reassuring your partner or your significant other or your friend? Is consistency like staying on the course, knowing that no, you're gonna work hard at this to make things work, um, to make things better, to um, fulfill something that you feel that's near and dear and true to your heart. What does consistency look like for y'all? Is it somebody that's constantly telling you, or is it somebody constantly showing you on a consistent basis? We're gonna start off with finding the definition of consistency, because I don't think that people really be knowing. So we're gonna start off with that. So the definition of consistency, and not the scientific definition, y'all, because it's two, is in the application of something, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, and fairness. So, in a relationship, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry, y'all. My mom's texting. I apologize. That is so rude of me, y'all. And this is my first time actually being on my phone during the podcast. So, this is definitely not going to be it. All right. She's texting about my son, y'all. So, excuse me. So, yes, consistency to me. Now, I'm going to give y'all my definition of consistency. Consistency means that you're constantly doing what you say or what you're gonna do, and you're showing action to prove that this is something that you want to do or something that you enjoy or what have you. People think that once you do something one time, then that is it. You don't need to do anything else. Once you do it one time, once you show that love, that affection, once you buy that gift, once you say that one thing, or once you make that promise, like that's just it. We just hanging off of that one thing. But to me, like, you have to be consistent in everything you do, not just your goals, not just your wants, your needs, not just, what I'm saying? You have to be consistent in everything, because how are you going to grow, or how are you going to get anywhere if you're not consistent, right? So I'm a big person that when I'm in a relationship, or when I'm trying to work on a relationship, or whatever the case may be, I try to stay consistent with showing my partner affection. I try to stay consistent on reassuring my partner. I try to stay consistent on what my partner needs, what my partner wants. I try to stay consistent on whenever I give to my partner. Like, I try to give on a consistent basis, because I don't ever want my partner to feel short of anything, or feel like, oh, okay, so you're not the same anymore. Now, y'all, listen, when I am in a relationship, and sometimes I might go off the course, but it's not always me going off the course because I'm tired or because, you know, whatever. If I have to go off the course or something, it's either you did something or something just don't feel right. Um, it's been times where I've gotten, you know, I'm not gonna say bored with a relationship, but uh like, you know how you just been with somebody for so long and things just, it's just at a standstill. You know what I'm saying? So you and your partner are trying to figure out, well, what the fuck, you know, we need to do to keep this moving right along. Um, Never in my life have I ever cheated on any of my significant others. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Um, but consistency for me to my partner is consistently showing you support, consistently, uh, like I said, reassuring you. Um, so to y'all out there, the listeners, what does one of my questions I had wrote down was basically, why is consistency important in a relationship? To me, and y'all can disagree, y'all can agree to disagree. To me, consistency is important in a relationship because when you first meet someone, everybody's in this honeymoon stage, right? Everybody's feeling like, oh, yes, I love you. Yes, you know, we're together every day. We have great sex every day. And this person just does so much for me. And, you know, this person is for me, right? We all think that in the beginning of the honeymoon stage, right? Okay. So once months go down the road, years go down the road, once time takes its course, you know, you and your partner become comfortable, right? Um, you feel like you don't have to do the things that you wanted or needed to do to get your partner, right? Because you have them. Well, then again, that's wrong because, well, in my eyes, it's wrong. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. In my eyes, it's wrong because what you did to get me, I idolize you in that moment, in that space, in that place. Um, I know that over time people change and things happen, and you getting to know a person and stuff like that. But what you did to get me is what you should do, rather. And I'm not gonna say what you have to do, but what you should do to keep me, right? So if you showed me so much love, if you showed me so much affection, if you were always cuddling, hugging, kissing, and listen, y'all, I know sometimes we do get tired and we be like, all right, give me some space. But you know, just to still have that moment where you feel like this is why I fell in love with you in the first place. To me, that's important because you're being consistent on you're being consistent on how you feel about me, and you're being consistent on making sure that it is important. Is you're being consistent on making sure that what is important to keep me in your life. I feel like I'm saying this all wrong. I'm sorry, y'all, because my mom, she's texting, so forgive me, y'all. So, yeah, as I was saying, when you are, you have to stay consistent, y'all. That is important in a relationship because words you could tell a motherfucker all day long, like, bitch, I love you, bitch, I want to be with you, nigga, I love you, nigga, I want to be with you, like, this is what we gonna do, this is what we're going to fucking do till death do us part. But if your love is not consistent, if your actions are not matching up to those words, then you pretty much have nothing. So it's one good thing of being consistent. It's another bad thing of being consistent. So when you're being like the good consistent, that's pretty much like you're showing up, you're reassuring the person, but not only are you reassuring them with your words, you're reassuring them with your actions. So if I tell you like, hey, everything's gonna be all right, and I consistently show up and show you and show you more than just physically verbally telling you like, hey, more than just verbally telling you, I'm sorry, hey, like, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. You're gonna feel like this person, this woman or this man, this bear, animal, cat, dog has been consistent with showing up. I feel like that, I can relax when I'm with them. Now, the bad consistent is that you're consistently just sitting here saying, motherfucker, I'm here for you, but you don't show up. So you're consistently not showing up. So now you're making this person feel like, I can't trust this person, or this person doesn't love me, or however the person may think. So being consistent in a relationship is very, 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 very fucking important, to your partner, to yourself. We just can't keep moving in life, y'all, letting folks down, leading people on, breaking people's hearts, not showing up for the people that we love, friends, family, peers, whoever. We need to be more, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be more solid, and we have to be more firm in our decisions when it comes down, especially when it comes down to romantic relationships. I'm a believer that it is a million, billion, trillion people in the world, and I'm people say, it's God made too many people and placed too many people on this earth for you to be with that one person. I wholeheartedly don't believe that, because it may sound like a movie or whatever, but I don't know, y'all can speak for me too. I've seen so many of people be in relationships and be together since they were younger, and literally experienced a genuine love, and the one thing that actually took them from that genuine love, and still in that form, they were not separated, was death. I do truly believe that it's genuine love out there. I do truly believe that everybody will experience true love at least once in their lifetime. I really wish that and pray for that for everybody, even myself. But you cannot tell me that you will never experience that one true love with anybody. I'm going to use my grandparents, for example. Both of my grandparents on my mom and my dad's side. So my grandfather died when my mom was 16. My grandmother never remarried again. My grandma died when she was 100, and I want to say 101, 102. My grandmother never remarried. My grandmother never dated. My grandmother didn't have no other boyfriends. My grandma was true and dear to her husband even after death. Consistent. My grandmother was true and dear to God, number one, and her husband, number two. Until she passed, until she left this earth, she was consistent with, I'm gonna remain a widow. I was not born around the time my grandfather died, of course, but I'm pretty sure my grandma probably experienced so much of a true love from my grandpa John that she probably felt like she could never find ever again, and she was content with that. She was older, she had her kids. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever my grandpa did in his time on this earth to make my grandmother feel like there was no other love for her other than the love of God, then to me, he had to been consistent. He had to been reliable. He had to been that man for her. I'm not gonna say that relationships are perfect. Even back then, relationships weren't perfect, but you have that person that you do experience that one true love with, that you're fine to walk this earth alone. You see what I'm saying? My grandma and my grandpa on my dad's side, my grandfather died when he was 94. He had a stroke. He stayed with us for 4 or 5 months after the stroke, and then he passed. Now, the love story with that, I pretty much grew up with my grandparents. Like, I pretty much grew up seeing them. So from a baby until I was 20 something when he died, I seen them. Wes and Mac. Wes and Mac. Mac and Wes, okay? So my grandfather loved, when I say loved, y'all, I'm talking about loved my grandmother wholeheartedly. And my grandmother loved her some Jim. She used to call my grandpa Jim, y'all. So she loved him. He loved her. Couldn't nothing or nobody get in between them but God. Death couldn't even separate them, like I told y'all, okay? My grandfather was 94. Before he had his stroke, my grandfather was still preaching. My grandfather had his own church. He has his own church on Dunlop Street in Petersburg, which now my uncle Westy now preaches, took over. So my grandfather took care of my grandmother because she had Alzheimer's. So my grandfather took care of my grandmother and up until he had that stroke and he couldn't take care of her no more. My grandfather made sure my grandma ate. I'm talking about he took good care of my grandma. Do y'all hear me? When I say took good care, I'm talking about took good care. And then my dad and my aunties and uncles took over the care until my grandmother passed. So with Alzheimer's, if you guys are not familiar, Alzheimer's is when the brain starts to deteriorate. So you lose your memory. You start parts of the brain that functions, help us function, like our movements, our thoughts, our speech, our breathing, all of that starts to deteriorate. And with Alzheimer's, your memory stops at a certain point. So sometimes you may go way back as far as childhood, and from the point that you started to forget, then you go backwards. It's like they're going backwards. So when my grandfather passed, like 3 days after we buried him, my grandma would walk around the house and she would be like, "It's getting late. Where's Jim? He needs to come home so we can eat dinner." You know what I'm saying? All my grandma talked about until the time she passed, y'all, was my grandfather. My grandma died she died Christmas Eve. She passed on Christmas Eve of 2021. Ooh, y'all. I don't know. It's like her passing. My grandmother that passed on my mom's side, my mom's mom, I pretty much grew up with her too. Like going to stay with her and she get me off the bus, like she helped raise me type. But it's like this, because she was not only was she my last surviving grandmother, but when my grandma and my grandpa died, it was like I was so much on the go because I was young and I wasn't focused on anything else. I didn't have time to sit down and really cherish the moments with my grandparents, nor did I have time to say goodbye. When my grandma passed, I think I came and seen her like 2 days before she passed, and then or 3 days before she passed maybe, and then that was it. I didn't see her on her last and final moments or days or whatever. My grandfather, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. Unfortunately, I had to see my grandfather in a different way. But, you know, but my grandmother, when she passed away, y'all, it was like God sat me down. It sounds crazy, but it was like God set me down. Like I was working at Wells Fargo and the call center. So I was working at Wells Fargo and I remember it like yesterday. So I was working at Wells Fargo in November. Excuse me. And I got in trouble at work because I had just got off leave and I had went to work to clock in at my normal time and not realizing that before I went on leave, I had put in time to come in early so that I can leave earlier instead of coming in my normal shift and leaving later. So it was called an early slide. And I came in and I realized I was not supposed to be there at that time. I was supposed to be there earlier, and I couldn't get any more occurrences or they was gonna fire me. My fucking manager was being an asshole, so I was like, fuck this nigga, I'm quitting. I quit my job. My at the time boyfriend, his name's Casey. At the time, I told Casey like I'm quitting. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work my business. So one day me and Casey it was after Thanksgiving, and one day me and Casey went to the Mexican grill that we always went to, and I was just talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, like my grandma been heavy on my mind, right? So I text my dad and I'm like, hey dad, how's grandma doing? Or whatever. And he's like, she's still here. She's still here with us. And that was, the end of the conversation. So I'm like, but beforehand, y'all, I'm sorry, Thanksgiving, I went down there to my grandparents' house, and everybody was calling me like, you need to hurry up, get down here, yada yada yada. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming. So it's my first Thanksgiving. I'm cooking, y'all. I'm in my house. So I'm like, man, I ain't going down there. But then I was like, you know what? Every year I go to my grandparents' house for a holiday. I'm gonna go down there, right? Go down there. My grandma is not in the state that I last seen her in. We just gonna keep it at that. So I'm like, okay, now I'm understanding why y'all wanted me to come down here, because this possibly was going to be our last holiday with my grandma, right? Okay, so she's heavy on my mind. So I'm texting my cousins. I'm doing my cousin lashes. And I'm like, bruh, grandma has been so heavy on my mind. Like, y'all ain't been feeling it. So everybody like, yeah, granny ain't doing too good, yada, yada, yada. So like, all right, bet. So me and Jamari, we go down there. We go see her. I want to say couple of days before Christmas, I was getting ready for a Christmas party, and my dad texted me like, hey, mama in the hospital. So I'm like, all right, you know what, I'm on my way. Go down there. She in the bed, and she was alert. She really couldn't speak. And I'm thinking, granny gonna fight this, then we're gonna go back home. So my last moment with my grandma was December the 23rd. I was supposed to go to work at JD Sports that day. I was supposed to go do a coat drive with a peer of mine from down there where my shop is. And all day that day, I just was like, I got to get to my grandma. I got to get to my grandma. So I didn't go to the coat drive. I didn't go to my last day at JD Sports. I don't even remember what the hell I was doing that day. But by 7 o'clock, or it was 8, because I can't remember what time. I think it was 7:30. I went to the hospital, and I made it 30 minutes before visitation hours were over. So I was sitting down there with my auntie and my cousin, and it's just 3 of us, and we're all just sitting around talking. My granny is in the bed. She's peaceful. She's well rested. She looks a lot better from when I seen her that a couple of days in that week, that Monday. So we're all sitting around talking. So my auntie like, yeah, I need somebody to cover a shift, because my family didn't believe in putting my grandmother in a nursing home. They took care of her. So I was like, well, I'll pick up a shift. You know what I'm saying? I'll sit with her on Christmas night. No lie, y'all. God sat me down. The moral of the story is God sat me down to spend the last final moments with my grandmother. I left the hospital at 11, probably 11:30. I got home about 12. I was taking my hair out because I had to get my hair done the next day. Literally, my phone alarm went off at 6 o'clock because I had to get my hair done at 7. My phone alarm went off at 6 o'clock. My dad just hung the phone up, and I got a text message and said that my grandma passed. Y'all, that was the most hardest, heartbreaking moment that I ever had to experience, but it was peaceful, because it's like God finally sat me down to be with my grandmother. But the point of the moral of the story is my grandparents experienced a love with these 2 men now My grandmother on my mom's side and my grandmother on my dad's side. My grandparents experienced a love that was so beautiful with these men and that was so consistent that when they left this earth, when those two men left this earth, they were completely fine. Even though they had Alzheimer's, because my grandmother on my mom's side also had Alzheimer's, but before my grandmother on my mom's side was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, my grandma was fine. My grandma was fine. She always used to walk around the house, said she ready to go home and be with John and God. You know, my grandmother was always asking for her gym, my grandma on my dad's side. So, you know, these two women were okay with walking this earth because they experienced their true love, and they knew that once they get to where they were going, once they get up there with God, they knew that they were going to see them again. So I know relationships have ups and downs and issues and problems, y'all, but for women and for a man and for a woman to stay together, what must happen? Consistency. What must happen? Reassurance. What must happen? Togetherness. Number one. What must happen? A lot of things must happen in a relationship that we tend to just overlook. Like we tend to think, and like I was looking at Angie Martinez podcast with Lauren London, and I think I said this in like a couple of podcasts ago, where she said that we're so much in our ego that we think that, you know, when we're with someone, we own them. And I'm a true person of that. Like I think I do live so much in my ego, but I also live so much in fear, because it's like, I want you to love me. I want you to love me. I don't want you to leave me. Don't hurt my feelings. You know, I do this and I'll do this and stuff like that. So much in my ego, right? And I always sit here and psych myself up for shit, because I've been through a lot of shit. And instead of letting the person be who they are, because at the end of the day, a person is going to consistently, listen to me, motherfuckers. A person is going to consistently show you who they are. Period. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, but it's going to be consistent. So if they don't be consistent in the actions that they do to you, they're going to be consistent in the actions that they do within themselves. If that makes sense. I think I made sense. Anywho, so consistency is important in a relationship, because you want it to last. Not everybody in your life is meant to be in your life. Not everybody in your life is meant to stay in your life. Not everybody in your life is meant to go. But while you're here with that person, just show love, just show affection, just be that person. You know, you will want a person to be to you. You wouldn't want a person to walk around here breaking your heart, telling you lies, letting you just do anything to them, and just a whole bunch of bullshit. Like, you don't want nobody to do that to you, so don't do that to that person. You feel what I'm saying? Especially when a person has been nothing but amazing to you. And everybody's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. He's not perfect. She's not perfect. But the main goal is that you be good to those who be good to you. If a person is not being good to you, y'all, then what you gotta do? Cut them off. It is what it is. It's hard, but you gotta do what you gotta fucking do. Cause they're gonna be consistent on making sure that you fucking feel everything. A motherfucker gonna drag you through the mud because they went through so much fucked up shit and so much pain, so they want to share it with you. But nigga, I don't want that to be shared with me. Like, bitch, show me love. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing you love. Show me the same. You feel me? So the next one is what to do when you or your partner or your friend or whoever is lacking consistency. First of all, y'all got to talk about that shit. Listen, I see that you aren't doing this. I don't know what's going on. If you want to talk about it, we can. What can we do to fix this? You feel me? And that should be the conversation that's had. I'm starting to really not fuck with the whole, I gotta have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 conversations with you about the same motherfucking thing, because at this point you heard what the fuck I said the first 10 times. You just don't feel like changing it. You don't feel like fixing it. You don't give a fuck at this point, right? So what do? Do you just give up on your partner, or do you just you just go with the course? You just run the course, right? With that, I feel like that is all on what you can handle. It's all on what you can take. And I'm not gonna sit here and say it's okay and it's cool to let somebody fucking dog you and sit there and you told them, they heard you the first motherfucking time, they keep on doing the 10 more times until you walk away from their asses. It's all on what you can handle. Don't let nobody keep disrespecting you either. But if you feel like in your heart that's something that's somebody that you see yourself with, if you feel like you can change, well, you can't change nobody first and foremost. I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say that to myself. But if you feel like that you know what I'm saying, you can this person can be better. You see that this person can be better. You know that this person can be better. The person shows you sometimes that they can be better. I don't know. Whatever you feel like is good enough for you to stay. But also make sure that you put yourself first. It's people, it's gonna be people, it's big trillions of people out here. It's gonna be somebody always out there that's gonna take so much better care of you than this person has. There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna make you feel so much better than this person had. This person may give you hell, but this motherfucker over here may give you paradise. You never know. And they may not. It may be 10 times worse than this motherfucker. But every person that you may go through is one stepping stone to the person that God has for you and supposed to been for you. You feel what I'm saying? And it sucks because we be like, fuck this. Like, and then they always say, you don't really know, the person that's for you doesn't really come to you until you're not looking. And most of the time we always looking, right? Until we get fed the fuck up enough, because a motherfucker then broke us so much that you just be like, fuck this shit. Then at this point, you're not even reciprocating love. You're not even reciprocating to love. You feel what I'm saying? So y'all just learn how to not bleed on other people because you've been in pain, or you can't trust, or you can't do this, or you can't do, like, that don't have nothing to do with the motherfucker you just met at the store and you asked them for their number and you sat there and said they was beautiful, cute, handsome, and you want to have all these kids and babies and you love them after 2 months of knowing them, and you already, you know what I'm saying, on the knee proposing, you gonna be my wife, you gonna be my husband, and then next thing you know is I can't love. Like, who the fuck asked you, nigga? You bother me. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, make that shit make sense, bro. Like, what the fuck? So when you and your partner are lacking, you or your partner, or if your partner comes to you and say, baby, you lacking, figure out, don't be defensive. Sit down and figure out, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I can change? What is it? How can I make this better? You can't fucking change one goddamn day or 1 week or 2 weeks and say, oh my God, I changed, and you think this person supposed to be reciprocative to you. That's not fucking true. Like, you can sit here and give me flowers today and say I love you and I want to be with you and we're gonna marry and we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then next week you back on your same bullshit. Like, that person gonna make me, it's like a manipulative tactic. Like, y'all, like, that's why I say y'all gotta be consistent when y'all do shit. Y'all can't just do something one day and think that one day is suffice. It's enough. It's not. It's hard work. It's very hard. I understand, especially when you've been in a space and an attitude and you've been doing something for so long and you're trying to change it. It's hard. It's fucking hard. It's just like saying, I'm gonna go lose weight today. I'm at the gym one day. I'm at the gym for a whole week. Fuck today. But next week I'm not at the gym. I'm eating a burger. I'm eating ice cream. I'm not even drinking no water at this point, nigga. Fuck the gym. That's not being consistent. How are you gonna? And then you sit there and say, I'm not losing any weight. How? You're not being consistent at the gym. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all have to be patient. Y'all have to steer the fucking course. Even if it's hard, even if the motherfucker, if you feel like this person, you can't even, it ain't working, then let them know, y'all. Don't keep on making empty promises to people, or don't sit there and show them one day and have mixed signals the next. Y'all gotta, you know what I'm saying? And then when somebody comes to y'all and voices their concerns or their feelings, don't be so fucking defensive. I know sometimes I get defensive a little bit, but then I gotta reel it back in, because it's like, okay, you know, you can't take that from that person. But sometimes I do be wondering, like, what the fuck do you see in your eyes that I'm not seeing? You see what I'm saying? But like I said, you can agree to disagree. If it's something that y'all can fix, if that's something that y'all can work on, then do that. But if it's not, you got to let that shit go, because consistently being inconsistent is a thing. When you're consistently being inconsistent, that hinders a lot of shit. That makes people feel like shit. And I don't think people understand that. You know what I'm saying? So if you and your partner are having troubles, please talk about it. Don't go out here and fuck. Don't go out here and dog. Don't go out here and just be mute and silent. Just talk about it. If it's something you can't get through, pray about it. If God says no, then let it go, okay? And I'm also talking to myself, but let it go, y'all, cuz don't keep hurting people that don't deserve to be hurt. Don't keep bleeding on people that didn't cut you in the first fucking place. Like, let the shit go. And if you feel like you can't do right by the person, by the woman, by the man, by the dog, by the cat, let them go. What are you holding on to them for? Somebody's out there for you that's gonna accept your bullshit. You don't have to motherfucking keep y'all. Anywho. And the last one was, how does it feel to not have your partner be consistent, which I kind of put all of that into one. Like, it makes them feel like shit. Of course, a fucking course. It makes you feel like shit. It makes you feel like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, am I not good enough? Am I not worthy enough? Especially if you messing with somebody with low self-esteem, or somebody who's always being constantly hurt, and it be the same repeated cycles and shit. It makes a person feel not good enough, but also that person needs to step outside themselves and see, what is it that I'm attracting people that put me in the same cycles that hurts me so much, right? So, y'all, I'm a big advocate for, you could have left me the fuck alone. I'm a big advocate for, you could have, nigga, you could have left me the fuck alone. You feel me? I was fine. I was cool. I was all right. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, I'm a person where I change. I'm like a motherfucking chameleon. Like, I change. Whenever I feel like my partner feel like they don't like something about me, I'm gonna try my best to change it. And I change so much to the point that I lose myself. I lose who I thought I was, or I feel like I lose a piece of my self-worth. I feel like I lose my fucking mind. I lose my fucking mind. Y'all, I lose my fucking mind. And when I love people, when I deal with you, when I fuck with you, when friendships, anything that is near and dear to my heart, when you take that and you ball it up, and you step on it, and you cut it up, and you crumble it, and you spit on it, and you just throw it in the trash in front of me, it's like my heart aches to the point where I do disappear, and I do try to run away, and I just do so much to ease the pain. Like I said, I try to escape reality a lot. And now that I'm older, I can't escape that shit, y'all. And it be nerve-wracking, because it make me feel like, what the fuck? I'm going crazy. I don't want to feel this, right? But it's so painful it's so painful to want somebody to love you the way that you love them, and the way that you love them is so wholehearted, like genuine. It's so beautiful. Like the love that you give, it's just amazing. And to give that to somebody that you know, well, one, may never in their life reciprocate the shit. Two, they just don't fucking care. Or three, it's just you're giving it to the wrong person, y'all. It's like a big ass slap in the face. And it hurts. It really, really fucking hurts. But you have to keep going, and that's where consistency goes. You have to keep pushing. You have to. I seen a meme that says healing is something that happens over time. It doesn't happen just like that. But to still give love even when you're healing, which I never thought of it, because everybody always said, well, I'm gonna wait till I heal. Oh shit, I fucked up the podcast, y'all. One second. I gotta restart on it here and add a whole nother segment. I fucked up. Y'all, I'm back on I'm sorry, y'all, for all my streamers. I'm so sorry, y'all. I fucked up. I hit the X button. My apologies. But I can't even remember what I was saying. I seen a and just to let y'all know, we back streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. We're back streaming. I'm so sorry, y'all. We never stopped streaming on YouTube. So for the full thing, please go on YouTube. I'm gonna have the parts on the podcast on the streaming platforms. I'm so sorry, y'all. But like I said, I seen a meme that says healing is something that's consistent. Still love in that moment of healing, and it's so hard, y'all, because it's like, okay, I got to a point where I feel you everybody thinks that healing is a something that you get to a point to and then you go back at it. But then it's always that one motherfucking fool that you run into, and they take you back out of that healing journey that you didn't went through, and you done worked so hard, and you like, how the fuck this bitch get me here? Yes. But the brave part and the strong part about it is that you really didn't heal all the way. And we beat ourselves down because we always say, like, it took me so long to get to this point. But you still are strong and you still are brave because you loved. Even when you thought that it was over and it wasn't over, you still went out there and you tried again. You tried love again. You tried but trusting again. You tried befriending people again. You tried it again. I don't believe that nobody needs nobody on this earth. I believe there's somebody for somebody on this earth, whether you're a friend, whether it's platonic or whether it's romantic or intimate or whatever the case may be, friendships. Everybody needs somebody on this earth. Well, first and foremost, you need God. That's number one. But, God put people in our lives for reasons. They're stepping stones. There's reasons. There's levels. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why I'm talking to you. There's a reason why you came and showed up and I was sitting on the curb and I was crying my eyes out and you come up to me and you going through the same exact thing. And let me tell y'all something. I was at the Rocks one day, and this when I was going through my one of my little breakups, I guess. I was at the Rocks one day, and I was out there by myself, and I typically used to go out there by myself, and I was trying to get into like my spiritual thing, trying to like read the Bible, get into God. And these girls had came up and they was so fucking loud. They was so fucking loud, y'all. And I'm like, I wish these bitches would go, cause what the fuck? Right? Excuse me. So one of the girls, she sat beside me and we just started talking. I don't even know how the fuck we started talking, but she said she was going through the same thing, going through a breakup, going through some issues with her significant, well, at the time, her ex. And I'm going through stuff with mine. It's like we going through a rocky road. And she opens up the Bible app. Now, keep in mind, y'all, I said I was on my spiritual journey, right? Lo and behold, we open up the Bible app. It's the same text that day, of course, because I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if everybody's text is the same thing, but God placed that young lady in my life at that very moment because I was feeling so low. And it was like she gave me confirmation to keep going. You know what I'm saying? To look at the horizon, to think better. You know what I'm saying? So God put people in your life for a reason. And that's why I said everybody needs somebody. Somebody's for somebody. It's never you just going to be by yourself for the rest of your life. It's people out there that's willing to love you, give you anything and everything you need, hug you, embrace you, let you know you're beautiful, let you know you're handsome, let you know you're smart, you're intelligent, you can do this. They support you even through the dumb shit. Like, even if you fuck up and do something, and they be with you. You know what I'm saying? In the front line. And then they pull you to the side when it's over. Like, you know you shouldn't have done that dumb ass shit, right? You know, that's love. And to me, y'all, love is beautiful. I'm a sucker for love. I love love. I love when it's real. I love when it's right. I love when it feels right. I love it. But I really don't love when it makes me sick, y'all. Y'all ever been love sick? Child. Ooh, I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, y'all, like, if you're gonna be with somebody, be consistent with them. Be consistent with your feelings. Be consistent with the genuine things you do. Not because the person told you to do them, not because you feel like, you know, it's the right thing to do, but if it's in your heart to love this person, or to want to be with this person, or to be consistent with this person, or you see so much in this person that you don't feel like you want to live the rest of your life without them, y'all, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Love don't make you hesitate. Love don't make you listen to your motherfucking friends or your family telling you leave that bitch alone, leave that nigga alone. He ain't no good. She ain't no good. She fucked this many niggas. He got this many bitches, and he did this to you, and he had that baby on you, and he did it. If you love that person, by all means, you know, you love them. It's nothing that nobody or nothing can say. Love them, but also make sure that you're loving your partner back. Make sure that you're respecting your partner. Make sure that you're taking care of your partner. Making sure y'all are taking care of each other. Okay? Like, don't fuck up something that is so great that God has blessed you with, that you may never in your life get the chance to have again. Because one or two things is going to happen. Either God going to take that person from you because he needs them more than this earth and this world needs them, or this person is going to build up the courage and build up the strength to say, I deserve better. I need to move on. It's time to move on. Don't let a person stop talking. When a person stops talking, a person no longer cares. A person don't fight. They don't feel the need to fight because their words are falling on deaf ears. Don't let a person stop talking. If a person stops talking, that's when you be scared. I know people don't want to hear that shit all the motherfucking time, but y'all, when that person is gone and you have that moment to yourself, whether you're laying in bed or whether you just laying there quietly, even if you with the next motherfucker, you gonna always have that thought and that conscience in the back of your head that they told me. Now I can never experience that again. Or now I can never hear them say that again. You feel what I'm saying? And all you can do is take what they said, take what you learned, and apply it to the next relationship, or apply it to the next situation, or apply it to whatever comes next. So that you know consciously, this is not, I don't ever want to do this again. Cherish the people while y'all got them, yo. Like, stop being consistently inconsistent with people, okay? Like, Take care of your people. Take care of yourself. Don't be inconsistent with yourself. Don't be inconsistent with the people that you love, that you know for a fact. Like, I want you here. I'm supposed to be here. Because when God feel like you're not taking care of his prized possessions that he blessed you with, he will take them from you. He will. And I ain't just saying that for me, because I'm not a perfect person, because I could be a fucking worst nightmare and I could be hell for somebody, and God probably put me in their life to do some fucked up, well, I don't know. I could be a hell in somebody's eyes and I could be a blessing in the next person's. So whatever position you're supposed to be in, y'all, just stay consistent, stay the course. Do what you gotta do. If you feel like you don't want to do it, let it be known. Cause we too grown. We too old for that shit. Like, no. You feel what I'm saying? So that's all I got for you on this good old Wednesday night. I ain't gonna keep y'all too much. But I love y'all. Stay tuned for this Sunday. So I do have a special guest, y'all. She's from Tennessee. I met her on IG. She's an esthetician like me, so my SD bestie, yes, in another state, period. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. Number one, the biggest thing is becoming an esthetician, being a mom, and some more exciting things, y'all. So once again, I really apologize to y'all that's listening, streaming, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. I really apologize that I cut it off. Please forgive me, y'all. But I really thank y'all for tuning in tonight to this episode 6. And until next time, see y'all later. Thank you. Good night.